Okay, so now we're back. If you got here, you didn't think part one was so bad. So here's part two. Let's get cracking. And Royal Enfield. Royal Enfield. Now, I am a massive fan of this brand. Very much a big fan of this brand because it's very much back to basics, good old fashioned, just riding for the sake of riding, for the enjoyment, the purity, Jesus, of just riding 650cc. Well, they make a range in the Meteor, I think is a 310 or a 350cc. From what I gather, is now one of the best-selling motorbikes in the UK. And then they have the 400s and the likes of the Himalayan and the 650 twins of the Continentals and the Interceptors. Cheap as chips, but they're developing a massive customization package. All these are all customized bikes. This one over here, oh my word, it's stunning. It's hard to believe it's a Royal Enfield. It's like a 240-year-old design or something along those lines. You know, today was the very first time I actually rode a Royal Enfield, which was the Himalayan earlier on the experience. I said, I'm not going to slate it. It's a cheap bike. It's back to basics. It is what it is. So I was being unfair. I'm comparing it to Tigers and to a CRF. Well, I wasn't comparing it to a CRF. I was able to keep up with the CRF. But as far as riding it was it was hard work. But, you know, it is what it is. We know people who have taken them up the Himalayan. Mate of mine, Gary Cunningham, actually has been up the Himalayas on them. I think a week-long tour, actually in the Himalayas, 6,000–7,000 meters up on them. They're built for the harshest conditions in the world, but I just love the simple back-to-basic style, the customization abilities of them. You just know when you're going to have a smile on your face when you're riding these bikes. I'm fawning all over them. Oh God, would you ever get a room, Gary? Anyway, Royal Enfield. If you're getting into bikes, they have A1, or they have A2, they have the learner class. You know, a big throbbing twin. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Listen, Royal Enfield, for the money, how can you complain for the money? KTM, you're taking the piss now. You're taking the piss. You made 100 of these, and they're all sold out, and that's it. I know they're 31 grand, but give me a break here. The KTM RC8C. This is the 890cc version, 127 horsepower. So it's the same 890 in the rest, in a lot of the other range, which I love. Obviously fettle around a little bit to get those extra horsepower. It's a track lunatic, a track nutter. And why won't they make a proper run of these? We don't need all the full spec to get it to 31 grand, you know. Half that will do. Third that would be better, but my word, come on. Come on. KTM makes, in my opinion, the baddest, the nuttiest bikes around. You know, they're the purveyors of the ultimate hooligan bike is KTM, and this is so much want, so much want. Apart from the 31 grand thing, but forget about 31 grand. 890cc weighs nothing. I bet 140 kilos. About the weight of a Mars bar. And you know this thing is just gonna fly. Oh my word. I'm forgetting to talk about the rest of the range. We know about the rest of the range. I love KTMs. The bigger bikes, obviously the adventure bikes are storming it. You see them on the road. They're really digging into GS territory here. I was in the Balkans back in June, July, and literally every second bike was a KTM. The other ones were GSs. But anyway, KTM is really up there. They make some incredible bikes. There's the new GT which has come out. I was supposed to get a ride on that not that long ago, but if no one hates this video that much, I will get another ride in the new year and I'll do a test on that one. I was really impressed with the electronics on that one. I mean, I was giddy. I was like a child. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. It goes up, oh, it goes down. Yeah, I know. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. But, you know, the bikes which I really love about them is their 790s or their 890s. Just really good fun. Like, you got to remember, 120 horsepower out of these bikes. We're all blinded by 200 horsepower, 210, 220 horsepower. Not realizing 120 horsepower. The original 916 made less than 100. The original Blade made nowhere near that. You know, 120 horsepower, 121 horsepower, and something that weighs nothing much more than a cigarette, but then a crisp packet. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we need to get back into that, I think. Anyway, they're the types of bikes you're really going to enjoy on the road and the track. But I really wish KTM would make this. I mean, come on. They made 100 I know it's 31 grand, but like, you know, what's a couple of zeros between friends? But no, I'm a big fan of KTM. Not a huge amount of difference from the last 2 years. They're still mad. I still like them. Hopefully, as I said, that new Super Adventure GT, I will get a test ride in it very soon. If KTM want to drop me down an 890, track day starts again in March at Mondello, I'm your man. I'm your man. Am I sounding a bit begging here now? I'm just after begging CCM, now I'm begging KTM. Cheers, I'll take any of his. If any of you want to loan me a bike, I'm your man. Anyway, KTM, they are what they are. Don't ever change. Don't ever change KTM, apart from the price. Apart from the price, change the price. Bye. You won't make me. No, no. Just give me a moment. Norton V4 SV, truly stunning, beautiful, 44,000 of truly stunning, beautiful 44,000. Gorgeous looking, beautiful 44,000 pounds. My word, this is a work of art. Nothing really much I can say. Their own engine, their own V4. I mean, Norton has gone through a bit of the ringer, a couple of issues there recently, the last few years. Stewie, you know who you are, you know what you've done, but we're all under new ownership now. Everything is hunky-dory, plain sailing. And you know what, if this is what comes of the new revitalized Norton, my word, it's so beautiful. There's two here. We also have the V4 CR, the Cafe Racer. These two are prototypes apparently. They don't have prices for them. Now, if this is 44 and the Commandos are around 21, 22, 23, you can pretty much kind of guesstimate that. That's going to be probably high 30s as well, mid to high 30s as well. Yeah, know what? You'd be hard pressed to knock. I mean, it's an insane amount of money. Insane amount of money. My God, they're fucking gorgeous. No, to hell with it. They're gorgeous. So Norton, let's please that they actually live up to their expectations now, that they're on firm ground and no one tries to screw over the employees and steal from their pension funds. Allegedly, it was just a rumor, I don't know, I have no idea what happened. I'm gonna shut up now, but Norton, absolutely stunning. I think they make about 180 horsepower, 185 horsepower from an 1100cc V4. I could well be wrong. It's just Ollins everything, billet everything, Brembo everything. It's just a work of art. They're absolutely stunning. I really want to see a CR up close and personal. Well, up closer and more personal than this. But Norton, just stunning works of art. Stupid amounts of money, but Jesus, you know, people spend a lot more money on paintings and cars and jewelry and handbags and shite. Why would you get yourself a Birkin, Burberry, whatever it is? Feck 'em, I want this one. How much for a kidney? So it seems that BMW doesn't want to get outdone by Ducati with their stupid wing front. My word, these things are rather pronounced. This is the M1000RR, 31,000 pounds. 31,000, sorry, it's a bit unfair. 30,640 pounds. The extra 100 pounds is for a GPS lapped trigger activation code only. You're paying nearly over 30 grand and they charge you 100 quid for the activation code. It's already in, but they want to pay an extra £100 to activate the code on over 30,000 pounds. What can you say? I'm not even going to go anywhere near this. It looks stupid anyway with these wings. I'm still a fan of the other bikes though. You have the base version, I think it's in around 16.5, and the M Sport, the one which with the carbon wheels, which is still incredible value. It's gone up a little bit in price since the last time we were here. I think it's gone up about £800, so it's around 20.5. The one we're looking at here has a few extras on it. It's 22,750, has a few extras. I think it's the exhaust system on it. You're just not going to go wrong. I mean, for that price, you're still talking $4 less than a V4S. Actually, forget about the V4S. The Ducati's on a different level. We're going to compare this to the likes of the Kawasaki ZX-10RR, the Honda Fireblade SP, which are more expensive, $3–4 grand more expensive than that M Sport version, which all bells and whistles, again with that carbon wheels, which nails them both on the track, road and on the road, and is actually beating them in the race series as well. I mean, this is BMW. They're doing. I tell you what, you can never accuse the Germans of having a lack of sense of humor, because have you seen some of the baggers here? Jesus. Their adventure bikes, oh God, yes, the GS. We know about the GS. I love the sport bikes. Never got round, thanks to last year. Had a couple of opportunities, went by the way. I was supposed to take one of these on track. Haven't got round to it. It's still a fantastic bike. It's still an amazing bike. There's still incredible value if you ask me. That carbon wheels, if it's, for that sort of money, can't go wrong. An S1000 still looks like good value. 16.8 for the base version. Again, that compares well with the base Fireblade and the base ZX-10R. And for that extra money, that extra 7–8 grand, it's a lot of money you can spend on upgrading the suspension. All right, shitload of track days. So here's a bit of a treat for you. Two-stroke, goodness, it's a stroker. Yes, this is the Langen two-stroke. How did they get this one through? I've no idea. Actually, from what I gather, it hasn't really passed all European regulations yet, but this is road legal, legit. You can go buy this now and ride it on the roads in the UK. It's a two-stroke, 250cc, 75 horsepower. It's around 33.5 grand. But look what you're getting for it. I mean, come on. There's a lot of bikes out here with a lot more money, and it's a two-stroke, for God's sake. I've looked at it earlier. I've looked all around it. The attention to detail is just impeccable. It's beautiful. You've seen the reviews. There's quite a few reviews online. Anyone who's ridden it, who's loved it, especially those who've ridden two-strokes in the past, there's not much I can say. Langen, it's a new company. This is their first bike out of it. Give them a look, Google them and just see what their history is and what they're doing here. This is an incredible piece of engineering here. This isn't just thrown together in a shed. It's absolutely beautiful. The engine, this has been designed and engineered by themselves. It is just, I'm falling all over this now. You can hear me slobbering on like a child. You heard me briefly going on about that RGV 250 earlier. This is just two-stroke porn. If you haven't ridden a two-stroke in your life, put it on your bucket list. But if you're a biker and you haven't ridden a two-stroke, you haven't lived. If you don't have 33.5 grand together, you might want to look at something a little bit kind of lower down the scale, but God, if you had the money spare. Beautiful. Langen, fair play to you. This is absolutely spot on. So Kawasaki, no longer the kings of world superbike. Johnny Ray got nipped to the post, pipped to the post by Toprak, Rozgatlioglu, and fair play. Toprak is a top bloke. Who doesn't like Toprak? Well, like Jonathan, but Toprak, he's a cracking lad. So no one's going to it makes for a great season next year if Kawasaki come back and try and get their crown back from Yamaha. But as we stand here, we have the current top of the tree for Kawasaki, the ZX-10Rs. We have the two basic ones, standard versions here. They're around 16 grand. They are same as every other superbike, 217, 20, 15. What does it say here? About 203 horsepower, but it's not even about the figures, it's about how they put them down. This one here though, is the Kawasaki ZX-10RR. This is the one that's supposed to replicate Johnny Ray's bike so closely. It is, you ready for this? Just under 25 grand. 25 grand. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier with the Honda Fireblade, the SP. That's a lot of money for bikes which don't seem to offer a huge amount over the base model. This here, I asked about it. Apparently, titanium hot rods and pistons on new wheels. You'd want to be a hell of a Johnny Ray fanboy to spend that much money over a standard version to get this version. Now, from what I understand, this is designed for the teams, for the superbike teams. So, because they need to be based on road bikes, on road legal bikes. So these modifications have been made to help it get in the box for the superbike teams, because they're going to be junking the suspension anyway. as a man on the street, or woman, sorry, if you're going on the road or on the track days, you'd be a lunatic to buy this. To spend that much money on this extra £8,500 sterling, about 10,000 euro on this over one of these. These are fairly good value. To me, these look like decent value at 16 grand compared to what else is on the market. Well, having said that, that BMW S1000RR, but to get one of these, spend that much money, imagine what you could do with this with that extra 8.5 grand. That's the same with that Jix 1000 earlier on. Even a base S1000 and the base Honda Fireblade. So they're doing well. The World Superbikes, you can't, they don't, I don't know, I said this before a couple of years ago, they don't seem to be scoring so highly in the track tests, in the group tests. And on the track times, they routinely keep getting beaten by Aprilia, by Ducati, by BMW, even by the other Japanese marks. It just seems a bit strange. But you know, 16 grand, yeah, would you want to be spending enough? How much money would you want to be spending on that to get it competitive with a base S1000RR, for instance? Forget about this. I don't even know why anyone, unless you are an incredible Kawasaki fanboy with money to burn, would you get this as your normal daily bike or your weekend bike. That's just too much money over this one. It's similar power, there's not much difference. It's just the nature of, I think it's just more tuning abilities for the superbike teams. Those wheels are apparently around 4 grand for the wheels alone. That's a hell of a lot of wheel for 4 grand. Sorry, it's a hell of a lot of money for a wheel. You look at Dymags or something else. But anyway, I'm blubbering on. We have obviously the other supercharged bikes here. Kawasaki, there's no more 600s, Super Sport 600s. They're back down to the 650s as well, those twins. I just haven't warmed to them. I have a ZX6R 636 race bike and I love it. I used to race an older ZX6R years ago, so I do have a bit of a soft spot for Kawasaki. But you know, like everyone else, I've been mowing the loss of the 600, the Super Sport class. So these are the super bikes. Wouldn't be where I put my money in, but I can understand if someone did. They're a decent bike. Okay, so it's getting late in the day here now, and I'm running out of time. The new Triumph Speed Triple 1200RR 17950. This is Triumph's new range topper, if that's what you want to say. Well, it's not. The Rocket 3 is a hell of a lot more expensive. But this is the bike what a lot of people have been harking and screaming for a long time, that we've wanted that 1200 in a superbike style. Well, they haven't gone all the way there. This isn't a competitor for a Blade or an S1000RR or a Panigale. They've kind of reeled that back in a little bit. Basically, their way of thinking is they want to make it fun on the track, a fantastic track bike, but also incredible on the road. Every review that I've seen of it, it seems that it's nailed it on the head. There's some top spec suspension here, electronically adjusted Ollins, Brembo Salima brakes, all the bells and whistles on it, 180 horsepower, you're not going to complain about it. Styling wise, it's each to their own. I'm a massive Triumph fan. I've said that so many times. I have a few Triumphs. My latest one is actually a 50-year-old Triumph Bonneville. But this one here is just not rocking my boat. The red one there is actually an extra 250 quid. So the price would be on the night. It's around 18 grand, so, give or take £100 for the price of the paint. Incredible to ride, which every review is saying it, but it comes down to it, do you like it or not? If you like it, you're never going to be disappointed on it. For me, purely because of the styling, I'd rather put my 18 grand elsewhere. The Rocket 3s, I still love them. I still think they're insane. I love the Thruxton R. I think the Thruxton R with that bikini fairing is absolutely gorgeous. I think the Bobber is gorgeous. The Trident 660, believe it or not, was a bike that got me far more excited than this. And that's 10 grand cheaper. I know it's only a 660, but you're gonna have a lot more fun on that in the real world. It just comes down to styling. It's just not my taste on this. I love Triumph, generally all their other bikes. This one doesn't rock my boat. But if you do like the styling, from what I gather, you're not going to be disappointed. It's a beautifully made bike. Attention to detail is incredible. I wanted more. Maybe I wanted a fully fed bike. You know, I would have been happy with that. But hey, who am I to complain? So one thing that did have a greater presence here this year were EVs, or electric bike manufacturers. Well, I don't care. I simply just don't care. We don't have much longer with petrol engines, and until that point where we're dead, that's what I'm going to concentrate on. Sorry. And so that is it from me for this year. There was a lot to take on. I know this was really, really rushed. It's just me with a bloke and a camera and a tripod running around like a lunatic pretending he knows what he's talking about. So I'm sorry if I missed out on anything that you might wanted to see. Hopefully it was fairly interesting. If it did go well, hopefully I'll get a few bike tests this year, as in 2022, unless nothing happens globally, pandemically wise, if you understand what I mean. Less of that. So that's it. That's 2021, sorry. So that's it. That is Motorcycle Live 2021 over. Have a great year, have a great Christmas, and let's hope that 2022 is a good one for everyone. See you later.